weeks with them and go over with them the races that we have for next year, because they try to come to everyone that they can. So, and that's good, you know. I mean, like stuff like that, it will hopefully will help make the whole thing grow. I mean, and Morris Johnson Jr. may possibly come down. But now I did get a phone call from Sam Carroll. He told me he was going to try to get Harold Denton to come with him, but he was definitely coming. So, you know, those kind of things right there, with the guys supporting it, I think it'll make it better all the way around.
Yeah. Now, do you have any sponsors currently for the car?
I get help mainly just from a few friends, but and you know, Bill Orndorff supports us every way he can. But it's mainly the people that you know that are closest to us. Just a couple close friends.
Right.
But no, you know, not what you'd say. No. I say factory back. Now, we do have sponsors for our series. You know, we got Bill Ellis Truck Sales, Price Brothers out of Charlotte. We got Blue Ridge Pest Control and Keen Wrecker Service. They sponsor our series.
Hello, Jeff. I can't hear you now.
Yeah, I didn't know if you got the last there.
Last thing I heard was series, and then you got cut off.
Well, Keen Wrecker Service here in Lenore, they help sponsor it, and Bill Ellis Truck Sales out of Wilkesboro, they help sponsor our series. Blue Ridge Pest Control, they also sponsor, and Price Brothers out of Charlotte help us as far as the series go.
That's good. So now, do you do most of the mechanical work on your car?
Yeah, Tyrone and myself, because he lives about 40-45 minutes from me, so we kind of split it up. Like if he needs help, I go down and help him, and if I need help, if Lee can't come over something, then you know he comes up and helps me. So we basically split that up as much as possible. But if we can't, you know, if he's busy working on his car, and you know, I'll do what I have to do, but we try to work it out so we have at least one person that can help if there's something we can't do.
Right, that's good. So what kind of engine do you have in your car?
I got a 632 Pontiac Kid.
I can't.
Two 1150 carbs. Basically, I mean, it would be like what basically what they would call a Mountain Motor Pro Stock.
Right.
Pontiac Kid.
So, what's the? You said you had one more event scheduled for this year, right?
Yeah, we're going to do the ADRL race this week at Rockingham. It's drag stock. We're going to do it, and then the engine, I don't know about the others, but mine will be coming out just as soon as we get done with it to be freshened, because we've got a deal down in Mississippi in February, so it's going to be a fairly short winter for us.
Now, do you ever go on the car shows with your car at all?
Yeah, we do displays quite often. Matter of fact, Tyrone and I done a bunch of those things with and I say Tyrone and I, it was Tyrone, myself, Frank Teague, and Shane Westmoreland, and Mike Whitaker down in his part of the state, because Mike lives on the other end of the state. He and Larry Evans and Levi Holm and Ed Miller. Ed lives up Chesapeake, Virginia, but they all do car shows also, like on the weekends off. So pretty much a big part of the group, if they're not racing, they're at a car show, you know, trying to get the word out and reminding people how good, things used to be, and they can be again.
Right. So can you tell us a story about a typical weekend when you got a drag race? How do you prepare for it?
Well, I'm a stickler for preventive maintenance. Tyrone and myself both are. So once we get if we've got back-to-back races, then depending on whether we get home Sunday or Saturday night or Sunday, if we get back Saturday night, well, then Sunday most of the time we go straight to the garage on the next morning and check everything, because he and I are pretty meticulous on preventive maintenance. So that's when it starts. It's unloaded, go through the valve train, and that is for us. It's real critical. So, and anything else that needs attention, we try to do it the first week. That way, if we have problems, we can have it fixed by the end of the week. Okay. So most of the time, we try to be ready to go by no later than Wednesday. So when we roll the car in the trailer, depending upon when we're going to leave, at least we have like one night of rest before we take off.
Okay. So now, what are some of your favorite tracks to run on, Jeff?
Say that one more time.
What are some of your favorite tracks to run on?
Well, I really like Virginia Motorsports Park, and I really enjoyed going to Cordova. And ZMAX, we done a 4-car match race there this year. I really like it. The place it's a phenomenal place, but the track is it's so smooth. And probably, I haven't been there in a while, but I really like Norwalk over in Ohio.
So what do you prefer, eighth mile or quarter mile?
I prefer quarter mile, but most of the tracks around here are eighth mile, because I like to pull it back in high gear and let the good times roll. But, most of the stuff that we do around here is eighth mile. But now when we go out to run with our brothers out at the Midwest, the paying tribute to the Legends group are basically the ones that, the guys that we had the alliance with. Now, when we go out there and run with them, it'll be all quarter mile.
Okay. Now, who makes your fire suit?
I've got a 20-layer SRP, I believe is the name on it.
Okay. Now, have you, in your whole racing career, have you ever had any accidents or near accidents at all?
Have I had any accidents?
Yeah, or near accidents, either or.
Actually, that's actually how about this kind of all come along, because in 2014 when there was water coming up through the track at one of the NHRA races at Atlanta. Well, I don't know how to describe it other than it ended up knocking the left strut bar off, or basically it knocked it off. So once we ended up fixing it, I got a really good chassis guy, Mike White, over in Asheville, North Carolina. I was going to sell the car, but once he got through fixing it, I couldn't tell where it had been wrecked, and I'm like, I can't part with it because I know it works that good. So that's kind of how Tyrone started rolling around with, because I'd run out of ideas for paint jobs, and the only thing that I knew that I wanted to do was a paint job from back then on one of my favorite cars. So that's kind of how it came up. And then when Bill Orndorff was thrilled that we wanted to do it, it just kind of took off from there.
Okay. Now, okay. I already asked it. You ready for some fun questions now?
Let it rip.
If someone said, "Here, Jeff, here's $150 million. Build me a drag race track," where would you build a track, and what kind of features would you put into it?
I like the Knoxville, Tennessee area. Even though Bristol is not that far away, I like Knoxville. I think that it's pretty populated, and I think it'd be a pretty good place. It would definitely be concrete from end to end. And I would try to do if I had that much money to deal with, it would have the covered grandstands like Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Right, to keep them in the shade.
Yeah, because I think nowadays people have, they have become so used to all the, all the amenities of home, and a lot of times I think maybe that kind of keeps them away, from being out when it is so miserably hot at times. I mean, I'm the type of person, whatever, it doesn't really matter how hot or how cold it is. If I decide I'm going to do something, well, obviously you can't race in the winter, but like if I decide I'm going to do something, I just go out and do it, whether it's put on sunscreen or put on 3 coats. But I think if a person could, if he could do that, yeah, I think it would help. Because if you can make people comfortable and give them a good show, long burnouts and dry hops and stuff like that, I think that you would have a lot better chance, and there'd be a lot more people come out.
Yeah. Now, do you have any hobbies outside of drag racing?
Yeah, I guess I do. I mean, I love Les Paul guitars. So, and if I wasn't racing, I'd be playing in a band somewhere. So, pretty much, to keep from choking somebody, I usually pick up my guitar and plug it in and turn it on 11.
All right, favorite music?
What kind?
Yeah, favorite. What's your favorite music?
High energy rock and roll, whether it be 80s hair metal, or what they call 80s hair bands, or I'm a big fan of stuff like Boston, REO, huge Foreigner fan.
Okay. So
but it depends on my mood. I mean, sometimes I can mellow out, but pretty much I'm a hard rocker. I mean, my nickname's Dirty White Boy, so you can kind of take it from there.
Yeah, Foreigner. So you like classic rock and 80s hairband rock, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I like a lot of different ones. I mean, and if I'm in a mellow mood, I can do the light stuff. I mean, I do like I've been accused of being a Bee Gee, so I do like the Bee Gees, and I do like the classic country. Now the country that's going on now, I'd rather have splatters drove up under what little fingernails I have, but. If I'm going to listen to country, it's going to be stuff from the 80s and back.
Right. So as far as 80s bands, what do you like Motley Crue, stuff like that?
Yeah, I do like Motley Crue, Cinderella,
Guns N' Roses, GNR.
I've never been a Guns N' Roses fan. I like Whitesnake a lot.
Quiet Riot?
Yes, definitely.
Now, how about heavier metal? You like Metallica, Megadeth, stuff like that?
That's a little more it's a little heavier because I'm kind of that. I guess they call it AOR rock.
Right.
I'm more into that than I am. The what'd you say? Like maybe the thrash.
Yeah. Or how about Iron Maiden or Judas Priest, that kind of metal?
Oh, I love Judas Priest.
Yeah.
And I do like Maiden, but I love Judas Priest. Matter of fact, one of my favorite things to play when I'm just warming up and stuff is like Living After Midnight or You Got Another Thing Coming.
Yeah. How about Black Sabbath?
Yeah. Yes.
Man, can't go wrong with Black Sabbath.
No, and I do like a lot of Ozzy's solo stuff. But I mean, to me, that kind of goes hand in hand with drag racing.
Yeah, that's why my wife named the podcast Pits of Metal and Motor, because it's drag racing and heavy metal. Mary. Yeah, that's why it's called Pits of Metal and Motorcast. So, because metal is for the music and then motors for drag racing.
I wondered about that.
Yeah, 'cause we interview bands too.
Oh, okay.
Now, Jeff, if you were able to travel back in time and do something differently, would you do anything differently?
Well, part of me says yes, and part of me says no. Had Frank Teague and guys like him and Charlie Woodard not been so instrumental in bringing and keeping me into the drag racing deal, I mean, I'm sure that I would have pursued a career in music. I'm sure of that. But you know what? I am really fortunate to be where I'm at, because now I get to live, and Tyrone and I were just talking about this the other day, you know, we get to live out, even though we weren't old enough to live the things that we desperately wanted to back in the late 70s and 80s. You know, now that, you know, we're fortunate enough to get to, you know, we're friends with so many of these guys now. And like I say, you know, when there's nothing much cooler than the phone ringing, you looking down and you got Bill Orndorff on the line, or Jerry Ekman, or Sam Carroll, or Harold Denton. Man, there ain't, you know, when they had such a profound effect on us, and us standing on the bank at, you know, whether it be Hudson, or whether it be Shuffletown, and watching these guys, and now we get to hang out and hear the stories and stuff like that. It would be, you know, like I say, part of me would like to go back, but after being able to hang out with these guys, and then like where we've formed this alliance with the Midwest guys like Mark and Mike and all, you know, we've combined, and now, I mean, just like this past summer was the first time I got to see the Bob Glidden and the Rare Morrison car in person, and it's a way to get to go back in time and get to relive the things that, you know, you weren't able to at that time. So I kind of, that part is the part that I absolutely love and feel so fortunate to be a part of. So I mean, like I say, part of me would love to, because I could go back and live in the 80s in that bubble quite comfortably. But I also do like the fact of now that we get to hang out, not only get to run the cars and kind of bring back those times, but we get to hang out and hear those stories and stuff. And that's really special.
Now, on the internet part of my show, Dr. Ron says, "Hey, Jeff."
Dr. Ron.
Yeah, he says, "Hey, Jeff."
Back at him, because he's a big music guy too.
Yeah. Now, Jeff, you have a favorite food?
Probably favorite food would probably have to be, well, since I have a small window I can eat out of, it has to be pizza.
Favorite?
I have a very small window I get to eat out of, but every once in a while I get to have pizza. So,
what do you like on your pizza?
Mainly just pepperoni and sausage.
Okay. Got a favorite vacation spot?
Well, I don't really take vacations, because all of my vacation is really, it's basically taking racing. So it's been so long since I've been on one. The only thing I know that I really want to do is take a train ride through the Canadian Rockies.
Now, are you a married guy or single guy?
No, I'm single.
Oh, okay. Now, favorite beverage?
A good glass of Moscato wine.
That's my wife's favorite, Moscato.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to beat that. I don't do it very often, but yeah, that's probably
Now, thinking about food on a race day, do you have any certain eating habits at all?
Say that one more time. I had trouble understanding you.
I was saying that we were talking about your favorite food on a race day. Do you have any certain eating habits?
I eat very light. Since I mostly have to live off of grilled chicken and tuna, most of the time I will do either deli sliced turkey or a pack of tuna. Because most of the time I eat very little when we're actually racing.
Right. Do you guys barbecue in the pit area?
Yeah. Now, like at the end of the day, yeah, we will. Or the night before, the evening before. Yeah, we'll usually fix, grilled chicken, stuff of that nature. And most of the guys that we race together with, I mean, most of them are pretty conscious about what they eat. So it's every once in a while you get into, something else. But most of the time we do grilled chicken and stuff like that. Right.
Now, you already said if you were in a drag race, you'd probably be a musician, right?
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
So what's been your fondest memory in your drag racing career, Jeff?
Being able to, well, there's been quite a few of them, but I guess probably, after being fans of Bill Orndorff and Jerry Ekman, being able to stand in the winner's circle with them with a big trophy. I mean, I was lucky enough to be the first NHRA top sportsman car run over 200, and that was really nice. But being able to hang out with your heroes and swap stories, and and when we go up there, in a couple of weeks, we stayed at Bill's house, and they treat us like family. So it's really hard. It's really hard to beat that.
Right. Now, when do you start making your schedule for the next season?
Actually, we already have. And one of the things, I keep hearing people talk about, people need to get together and all this jazz. And most of them are keyboard warriors. And, the thing about it is, like last year, and we're going to make the announcement of the exact date of the Don Carlton Memorial for 2018 here shortly. But this, last year we formed an alliance with the Midwest guys, paying tributes to the legend Midwest group, which is Mike Ruth and Mark Pappas and George Kubis and Ted Peters and those guys. When they came down this past year for the Don Carlton, when people say, well, we need to get together, well, we already done that. We had 30 cars, 30 established toe stockers on the grounds at one place. And had it not been for some severe weather, the weather looked like it was going to be bad. There was at least 4 or 5 guys that didn't come because of the weather. And there has never been anything anywhere that will even come close as far as car count. And when you got guys showing up like Sam Carroll, Morris Johnson Jr., and Bill Orndorff, Jerry Ekman, Harold Denton, all these guys. There's, that right there. We had so many cars. There's been nothing done like that before. And like this coming year, I know that those guys, they've already committed 10 cars. And now we've got more cars down here. And there was a couple guys that didn't get to come. Matter of fact, Dr. Ron didn't get to come last year. And I think he'll be back. And we've got several other guys. So if, unless something goes wrong, there's no reason we couldn't have, as many as 35 cars on the grounds this year. And matter of fact, we actually moved the Don Carlton Memorial. It will be at Mooresville Dragway in Mooresville, North Carolina. Matter of fact, the dragway is like you can throw a rock and hit the industrial park where a lot of the NHRA pro stock teams are at.
Right.
So I think this is going to be one that people will be talking about for many years to come.
Now, any plans for you guys ever come out to the Midwest and do some races with the other?
Yeah, and that was another thing I was gonna mention too. With talking with Mike and Mark and the Midwest guys there, we're gonna, since we do races together, because I mean, like this weekend they're doing I think it's the Muscle Car Nationals in Chicago, and we're doing the ADRL deal at Rockingham. So, you know, and then next year we've also got a couple of races that we're going to come out there, maybe Joliet and possibly another one. I'm not sure yet. They're still trying to get things worked out as far as logistics and what's going to be where. So there's like I say, I don't know the exact place, but we're probably going to do at least two. We're going to come out there and do at least two events. Yeah. And another thing, since we have done that, we've teamed up, or kind of formed an alliance. I mean, they do their thing out there, and we do our thing here. But we do several of the national events a year, like the Don Carlton we'll do together, and then we'll do probably two more. And ever since we did this, I mean, like last year when we done this, and especially after the Don Carlton race, we had tons of more memberships that come up right after that, and for both organizations. So there's definitely strength in numbers.
Yeah,
I can't wait to come back out, and I hope that I would love to go to Joliet, because that's one place that I have not had the pleasure of racing at yet.
Now, are there any plans? For you to try to come back to the World Series at Cordova?
If it works out, yeah, absolutely. We thoroughly enjoyed that, and I would love to do that again.
Yeah.
Because the people were so gracious. We signed, I gave out all the hero cards I had, the 8x10 hero cards, and I don't know how many posters and stuff we signed, and the people were just so nice. I mean, that right there was really cool.
Yeah, because I know Pappas and Ruth were there this year.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we could we could do that again. And I mean, if we get the opportunity, heck yeah, we'd do it again.
Mark Pappas had Moosey behind the wheel this year, right?
What's that?
I said this year when Mark Pappas ran at the World Series, he had Pat Moosey drive behind the wheel.
Yeah, I got to see that, and I actually talked to Mark about that right after that happened. That was really cool. See, that's the kind of thing I also think that's really going to help this deal go. I mean, that's the kind of thing, you get those guys involved, and especially the people that remember that time and is dear to them. That's just going to help the movement grow as a whole.
Now,
matter of fact, Jerry Eggman drove my car this year at the Don Carlton, and and that's another thing too. I mean, man, we got we got like 7 original cars that were actually competed in Pro Stock, and we've got like 3 original drivers, 3 or 4 original drivers. I mean, Ed Miller, he actually competed in Pro Stock in 70 and 71, and he's running with us. And you're talking about a super cool guy. If you get a chance, I highly recommend you talking with him, because he is just, I mean, he's cool, and this guy, there ain't much that he hasn't done in the world of drag racing in the past 50-some years.
Yeah. Now, Jeff, if you ever had a chance to get behind the wheel of a pro mod, would you do it?
As long as it had nitrous. Yeah. I care nothing about anything that's got turbos or a supercharger. I just that don't. That'd be like me picking up a golf club. I mean, it just don't do anything for me, or a fishing pole for that matter. I know there's a myself, it just doesn't do anything for me. It's got to have nitrous on it, or it's got to be like a naturally aspirated deal. I like the carburetor type deals with the headers underneath them. I mean, that's what I've always been. The way I've always been.
Now your car, you got the three DOF system.
Three what?
I said, well, your car, you got the 3 DOF system in it.
No. I've got it on there from when we used to run Top Sportsman.
Okay.
But I don't have 3. No.
Okay. What else we got here? So what can we look forward to out of next year from you guys?
Well, they're going to be even more side by side racing, and with the way that the schedule is shaping up, we've already got races booked around Maryland, the DC area, Delaware, Mississippi, and we're going to come out and run some with Mike and Mark and those guys in Midwest. Somewhere around, your area, and I'm hoping that we can get I'm hoping for at least 1 or 2 deals in Ohio, and possibly 1 or 2 in maybe Kentucky and Tennessee, and maybe 1 or 2 other places. But right now we've got a lot of possibilities. We've got I think 4 or 5 races already for next year. But there's still a lot of things in the works, and we got a call from a guy the other day that's putting together a deal that I can't say what it is yet, but if it goes, it's definitely gonna be very good for Nostalgia Pro Stock.
Now, will you guys be adding any more drivers on next season?
If all goes to plan, we should. If the guys do what they're telling us, we should have at least 4 cars, maybe 5, come on over the winter.
That's good. Now, do you have any last words for all the fans out there listening?
Well, I would hope that they would at least take a moment to check us out at Southeast Outlaw Nostalgia Pro Stock on Facebook, because for one, we do have some really good side-by-side racing, and contrary to what some people may say, it is door handle to door handle in most cases, and with what we've got in store for next year, along with our friends out there in your neck of the woods with the Midwest paying tributes to the Legends group, you're going to have a really huge field of cars when we do get together. And everybody's going to have somebody to pull for, and not only that, hopefully by the time that we pull around there, to go into staging, they won't know whether it's 1970-something, 1980-something, or the present.
Right.
And I think that's something that will appeal to a lot of people.
Right. So do you think it's important to get the kids out to drag races?
Oh yeah, that's one thing that we definitely need to do, because history is a very important part. Because contrary to what some people would say, if you don't know your history, then you have no idea. If you don't know your history, you're going to make the same mistakes again. So people really need to know history. I mean, that's there's no ands, if, buts about it. So, and once kids learn to respect history, I think that not only have a greater appreciation for it, but to be able to preserve it. And that's kind of our motto, saving the past for the future.
Now, when the kids come out to your events, do you put them in the driver's seat of your car?
Oh yeah, pretty much every one of our guys, and we do a lot of. Matter of fact, we've done several shows this year that, like displays and stuff, and the kids will be looking like, hey, man, you want to sit in the seat? Because, I mean, we have race cars. We don't have show cars. Now, yeah, we go out to put on a show because we do long burnouts and all that kind of thing. Yeah, we do that. But, I mean, bottom line, it's a race car.
Right.
It's not a trailer queen and things of that matter. So, I mean, and all the guys even the guys that have all the original, like I say, the original cars, they don't have a problem with that. And two, if we don't do those type things and get the young kids interested, it will die out.
Right. So what do you think about the junior dragsters?
I think it's good to give kids something to do, and because you got to have a fire, you got to have something to work toward. And if you can get a kid that it's interested in that, it gives them something to work for and to work toward. And like I say, I mean, with all the stuff of this day and time, I think the more that you can keep them occupied and it keeps them out of trouble.
Right. Yeah, they just had that tragic accident with the one in Australia. That girl, 8-year-old girl.
Yeah, that was horrible. I mean, I don't know the circumstances of the whole deal, but I would much rather, if I had kids, I would much rather them, be in a junior dragster and doing that than I had them, running around with the wrong crowd.
Right. Well, Jeff, I want to thank you for your time for the interview tonight.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks back at you, man. I do appreciate it.
Hey.
My wife wants to say hi to you. Hold on.
Jeff.
Yes.
Do you fix your own car?
For the most part, yeah.
Are you married?
No.
No.
Girlfriend?
No, I'm single looking to mingle.
Okay, well, you know you like to get down and dirty in a car, but you need to find a girl for that.
Well, I'm doing interviews now.
Okay. Well, good luck on the girl.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Thanks again for the interview, Jeff.
All right, man. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.